What's good? What's good? What's good? My bad, yo. So what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, Cam Johnson, when he was traded to the Denver Nuggets, I think for him this is a great move. Denver Nuggets, they need additional depth, and with his 18.8 points off the game per game with the Brooklyn Nets, I think he's a great addition to the Denver Nuggets, man. Like the main issue with the Denver Nuggets was that Jamal Murray wasn't himself. He may have a flash in the pan. He may have 1 game, 2 games where he plays extremely well, but Jamal Murray was extremely inconsistent. You had Michael Porter Jr., who was pretty much always inconsistent throughout the NBA Finals. So throughout the NBA playoffs. So they just needed that extra depth, man. I mean, it got to a point where Nikola Jokic was doing damn near everything, and you cannot expect to get back to the finals or to go in a deep playoff run when you only have one guy who's doing everything and your team doesn't have any depth, man. So that's the issue that they ran into. But despite that, they still went to they still had OKC in 7, which, you know, if you look at that from a general manager's perspective and from the coach's perspective, you're pretty happy with that, man. You're looking at the fact that you took the eventual NBA champions to 7 games, even though you didn't have as much depth on your team. You know that you just need to add a couple pieces, be able to sign some players in the offseason, which is exactly what they did, and they can get back there. So I think this Cam Johnson trade is absolutely great. And then on top of that, they brought back Bruce Brown on a 1-year deal. So Bruce Brown, if y'all didn't know, during the Denver Nuggets run and their eventual championship in the 2023 season, I believe it was, Bruce Brown was extremely important to that run. He was like an absolute rocket, a ball of energy off the bench for the Denver Nuggets. So for them to be able to bring him back on a 1-year deal is extremely pivotal, especially when you need that extra depth. Having Bruce Brown off the bench coming there, extremely great. I think after the Denver Nuggets won the championship, he signed a deal. I remember he signed like a pretty big deal with another team. I don't remember which one it was. He signed with the Indiana Pacers on a 2-year, $22 million contract. And then eventually he got traded to, I think, the Toronto Raptors. I think he got traded to eventually. So essentially, this typically happens with NBA championship teams where some of the players, especially if they're older, will look to get that. They'll look to get. Raika says, hello, what up? What up, gang? What's going on? What's going on? Where essentially, if once they win the championship, the players will look to get a big bag, right? Like, they've been on the team. They may be getting paid maybe $1 million, $2 million. They may be on like a 2-way contract or something like that. So they'll try and get that bag, So for him, he had no choice really but to leave. And Denver obviously wasn't going to be able to match what another team was going to give him. So they had to let him go. So this is perfect for Denver because in actuality, after winning the championship, they really do want to keep a guy like Bruce Brown. But because of how the NBA cap and everything works and other teams offering him that money, which if you want to keep Jokic, if you want to keep your main guys, you can't really do, And at that time, they just gave Michael Porter Jr. a lot of money. They gave Jamal Murray a lot of money. So they're not able to keep a guy like Michael Porter Jr. So, but yeah, and then here we're going. Speaking of Michael Porter Jr., so Michael Porter Jr., if y'all didn't know, he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. Michael Porter Jr.'s contract was also extremely large as well too. So for the Denver Nuggets to be able to stay under the second apron, they really, really needed to offload some players, and this is one of the first things that they did. They got rid of Michael Porter Jr. and Michael Porter Jr. also felt the same way as well too. Shout out to Michi Guerrero 17, man. Shout out to Raika. Hello to y'all. Michael Porter Jr. says that he felt like he met his ceiling with the Nuggets that plateaued before the trade. So we'll go into this article right here. So Michael Porter Jr. says that he felt his ceiling with the Nuggets plateaued before Nets trade. So Michael Porter Jr. is appreciative of the time in the Denver Nuggets, but he believes he can reach a higher ceiling with a larger role in the Brooklyn Nets. And so he says, quote, "I'm really excited for the next chapter out here in Brooklyn," he said in a YouTube video he posted on Wednesday. "Over there in Denver, I feel like my ceiling had kind of plateaued. We just kind of had a way of playing and how Jokic plays, how Jamal plays, and that 2-man is great and very potent. That's how we play. And I'm appreciative of the way we played. We ended up winning a championship, but I do feel like my ceiling in Denver kind of plateaued a little bit. I'm excited for this next chapter in Brooklyn." And based on what we saw with him, man, I completely agree with this guy. He got to a point where he was not very consistent throughout the playoffs. He may have 1 or 2 flash in the pans where he has a really good game, but for the most part, especially when they needed critical shots, he was not making them shots. So I think Denver made the right move. I think so far this offseason, you got to give Denver pretty much an A+ for everything they've done, man. They got Bruce Brown back, who's an absolute bolt of energy off the bench for them. So they're able to get that guy back, add some depth. They got Cam Johnson to get that extra shooting off the bench to replace Michael Porter Jr. So I think the Denver Nuggets have done everything they need to do. And then on top of that, you have Nikola Jokic, who declined his extension with the Denver Nuggets too. So he's making the great move as well too. Without him signing a big contract, which would have bloated the cap space, now he saves Denver a little bit of money. He's able to sign another contract in next year or next offseason or in 2 years and be able to get even more money, potentially $80 to $100 million extra for Nikola Jokic. So I think Denver right now is making all the great moves that you need to make for a team. And you can't blame them, man. Honestly, I would not be surprised if Denver makes another deep run again next year. And we see OKC and Denver again in the Western Conference Finals, man. I can see Denver going against OKC. And I think those two teams will be pivotal in seeing who would be the potential NBA champion next year. I think whether it's OKC or Denver, I think the West is going to determine who becomes the NBA champion, man. And whoever wins that Western Conference Finals next year is going to become NBA champion again. That's exactly what I think. All right, man. So let's get into this Bronny stuff, man. So we had Bronny James going up against NBA #1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, the other night. So we're going to watch some of the highlights and see what's going on in that game, man. Because I completely missed the game, so I want to see the matchup and see what's going on.
Paisley in the center circle, along with Sharp, who wins the tip. And they double team Flagg right away. They blitz him. How's that for a welcome to the NBA?
Right away.
There you go. He handled 6-7 out of Pepperdine. That foul against Cooper Flagg, his first. Here's Bronny around the Paisley screen, step back over Flagg, and that jumper's wet to start the night. They're kind of.
I'm surprised, man. Bronny already with the wet shot. And one thing I will say about Bronny, man, Bronny I think he silenced a lot of the doubters, man. There's a lot of people talking shit about Bronny when he first came in the league, saying that he couldn't play. Even myself too. I thought that he wasn't ready to come to the NBA, especially coming off the cardiac arrest. I thought he should have stayed in college for at least one more year. You know what I mean? Get used to the speed of that game a little bit more. But nah, he came to the NBA. I mean, obviously last year he didn't get a lot of playing time and spent a lot of his time in the G League. But it looks like he's ready to go, man. He was killing it towards the end of the G League, man. I think he just needed to get used to the pace of the game. But yeah, he was killing it in G League by the end of it, man. So shout out to Bronny.
Him to take it. He wanted to get one dribble inside the line. Ends up with a contested three.
James.
Yeah, contested three right in Cooper Flagg's face.
And Bronny out of the gate quickly. 5-0. Not surprised. Chris Johnson, his uncle and trainer, had him in the gym a week after the regular season ended. And a three at the other end by the Mavericks.
So it's a good start here to hit a mid-range, follow it with a three.
Here's Ryan Nembhard, the younger brother of Andrew Nembhard.
This man, Cooper Flagg, looks exactly like Luka did when he first came in the NBA, man. Go back, look at those old Luka Doncic pictures of him. This guy was like mad skinny, mad tall when he was coming from Real Madrid in Spain. And, bro, y'all got him on that American diet, that deep down south Dallas American diet. Now this man's fat as hell, man. Look at it. Can't believe it. I can't believe it.
To break you down off the dribble with his size, make any pass available to shooters.
Nembhard, diminutive but dynamic on his way to the bucket. They called him and his representatives immediately after the draft concluded.
Oh, Brian Dish.
Here's Connect straightaway three. He used all the iron to get that one to go.
If I was Connect, I'd feel a certain way, man.
Very quick.
I think the Lakers were supposed to trade him, but it didn't go through.
To keep him in front.
And here's
He felt a little salty about that.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp.
Oh my God.
Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get.
On the break, pushing it home. Welcome to the league, Cooper Flagg.
Well, that's
Cooper Flagg was, I'm going to show y'all in a bit too, Cooper Flagg was balling in his Summer League game this year.
Flagg using the self-checkout line for the bucket.
He had Dallas had another Summer League game today, and Cooper Flagg absolutely balled out. He had like 31 points in that game too, so Cooper Flagg was going crazy, absolutely crazy.
Flagg again, great hit-ahead pass.
He blocked the shit out of that man.
The rim by Paisley.
Blocked the shit out of that man.
Because he's got a very strong lower base, so he can stay on balance to still get off a quality look.
Here he is on the break, got the pass, and one.
And one is what you want to see.
Davis snakes this.
I think we also had a lot of people on the sideline as well watching Kyrie Irving there. We had some of the other guys as well on the sideline. I think you had the coach. Obviously, you had the Mavs coach as well, Jason Kidd.
Green out to Swider. And he usually gets those to go, Tim.
He hasn't missed too many. So great size, and you can see him come off that down screen. When you're that big and you get those feet turned, it doesn't really matter how close the defender is.
Cleveland with the loose ball rebound. Nembhard fires. And that's
supposed to be nice to Nembhard.
Ryan Nembhard.
This guy here, Brian Nembhard.
The Lakers trail by 2. We're on the.
Bro, how y'all having interviews in the middle of the game and shit?
To the hole.
This one to have essentially any excuse they can have just to interview Bronny is what they wanted to have. This guy had 4 points at that point in the game, and they just wanted to find an excuse to interview Bronny. Oh, Cooper Flagg. Oh, that was nice.
I'm not going to walk him down. I'll knock down this midi.
I ain't gonna lie, this Cooper Flagg dude is a hooper, straight hooper.
Kelly on the break, raises up through the hit
And one.
Swider fouled.
He looks mad skinny though. He needs to put just a little bit of weight on. Got that young boy skinniness.
Full court. You tell me, Tim, it seems to become a little bit more of a trend.
Andrew Nembhard, fresh off of his NBA Finals appearance, but he's here tonight watching his younger brother
Shout out to
Ryan,
Andrew
who's just
Nembhard.
signed his two-way.
Shout out to Andrew Nembhard, man, another Canadian. We have 4 Canadians in the NBA Finals this year, man. Crazy. Andrew Nembhard, Lou Dort, obviously SGA, and then we had Andrew Benedict Mathurin.
Deal with the Dallas Mavericks. What was the family's reaction when he got the call from Nico Harrison?
Oh, super excited. Super excited to get this opportunity. Super excited to say he could play in the league. And it's been a long journey for him, and I'm just happy to see here.
It's off to a great start. 8 points, already has an assist, a couple of rebounds. What kind of player is Dallas getting in Ryan?
I think a winner. I think they're getting a winner, a guy that wants to compete, do whatever the team needs, play on and off the ball. A guy who can play make and make others around him better.
Is there any part of his game that's better than yours?
No. Still working on it. He's young. He's working.
Typical older brother. Have you been able to rest and recharge since the NBA Finals?
I have. I've been taking my time off. I haven't really thought too much about it. Trying to flip the page.
I know it didn't obviously end the way that you guys wanted, especially how Tyrese was injured.
Bro, literally the majority of the clip, they just have him interviewing a bunch of random dudes. Bro, like, what the hell's going on?
He understands his acceleration away from the defender gives him just that extra bit of space as he comes off that screen to shoot a relaxed jumper. So he don't have to get off the ground very high for a putback like that. Cooper Flagg really created that by getting into the paint.
Flagg playing some defense.
All eyes on him, allowing the offense.
I'm looking at Cooper Flagg, and that dude is like very, very lengthy, bro. Like this guy has like a lot of length. He doesn't look like that too. I think he's like 6'8" as well too, but he looks like he's like extremely lanky as well.
Rebounding opportunity.
So once he puts a little bit more weight on, he might be like extremely great to have on your team defensively.
On the crossover, Flagg took it to the rim and got it to fall.
Which is pretty high for a top pick in this summer league.
And almost a field goal attempt per minute. Nembhard with the fadeaway, got it.
Got another Nembhard. So this guy Nembhard is actually Nembhard's younger brother, bro. I'm telling you, bro, these Nembhard brothers are straight hoopers, bro. These guys are assassins, dog.
12 points.
I'm like, no wonder this dude is hooping like that. This guy's related to Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard's younger brother.
On 6 of 10. Stewart.
I ain't gonna lie, that's good, no.
Off glass. It'll count at the buzzer.
When you compare it to what you saw out of him
Okay,
a
he was
year
cool.
ago, when he was just trying to survive out there, that's not what I saw tonight. He looks like a guy much more comfortable with what teams are looking for guys that got some experience that they don't necessarily have to pay a lot if they're able to somehow crack the rotation, particularly shooters, Jonesy. You know, because you think you'd want to do too much. Maybe you're going to even commit an offensive foul on a drive. His instincts for making the right play, really solid.
Or connect, confident looking three right there. There's few like him, if any.
Absolutely one of the biggest X factors in the league right here, Dallas Mavericks organization.
Money.
On the bounce, step back three with a hand in his face. The Lakers with another opportunity, connect on the drive. Hanging.
Ooh, that was kind of nice. So this guy did all the shit. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, that was kind of clean. That's a Canuck. I know he feels away. I think he was supposed to be put in a trade package. I don't remember who it was for at one point. I think they were trading with, it might have been, I think they were trading for a center, I think towards the end of the season. And then the trade somehow got blocked because one of the players failed their physical or something like that. I'm trying to remember which player that was. I don't actually remember the player. But it was a center, I think it was from the Hornets. And I felt like Canucks, he kind of got his like welcome to the NBA moment where you can just be traded at any moment, man. Like at the end of the day, it's business, which kind of sucks. But if I was him, I'd feel so. I think he still does probably feel a way about that. And who knows, man? He may eventually get traded as well too. Like you never know with the NBA in this offseason.
Here and puts it home.
Yeah, that's the underrated part of his game.
In well over a year, of course, with their respective busy schedules. Corner three is good. And
yeah, we've been there. We've been
Or Bronny.
Oh, took a trip.
you're worthy, man. That's that play with you.
That was just my wife and I did that trip.
Kelly with the layup in the other end. And here's Bronny.
And what he's going to see.
Oh, Bronny dishing the ball out. Oh, man's missed.
Touchdown at the rim, but he's going to see.
Or man's missed a wide open dunk.
Moves that he was able to beat guys with it too.
Ryan, you've gotten off to a great start in your
Yeah, it's
summer
Ryan
league
Nembhard. So this guy right here is Andrew Nembhard's younger brother, Ryan Nembhard. So these guys, the Nembhard family, bro. Canadians, straight hoopers, man. Straight hoopers. Andrew Nembhard is a straight hooper.
You seem like you're in total.
Faster than him, but you know, I take a lot from him. So
How do you think
He had
answered?
16 points. Right, this point in the game, he had 16. Bronny, deep three?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Miss.
Nice work. Thank you.
It's a booty. Three. Hall.
Just a better shot, which often happens at this level.
Flagg sets the screen. Hall turns the corner. There's the pass. And the delivery. Looking good.
Knocked down his second straight three.
Played good defense on that wide action. They tried to get it to connect. He missed the jumper. Baisley. Slider. Got it.
Oh, he just hit that right in, right in man's
Ball
face.
game. Baisley back out top. One more to connect. Draws the double, then sprays it. Got it. Had a great look. Long outlet picked off. And here's Stewart. Slider for the lead. And the Lakers go up by 2.
Lakers win the game.
Gets the switch with Slider. Time for a little bag work. Nembhard. Does that look familiar?
Bro, Nembhard, this guy, I'm telling you, is a walking bucket, man. The Nembhards, bro, I don't know what they're feeding these dudes. These guys are walking buckets.
Tell me that didn't look like.
Look exactly like his
buy
brother,
a
huh?
new car, buy a used rental car instead. Hey, I know what you're thinking. That sounds
A guy that plays for the Pacers. That same combo. I mean, it was everything but the bucket. And he's a little hurt right now.
Ooh, Cooper.
With the block.
Bro, Cooper Flagg just got that shit the fuck out of here. Let me do that again. Let me go back. Let me go back.
Bucket. And
Look at this.
He's a little hurt right now.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Cooper Flagg, he looks like he's pretty skinny, but if he puts a little bit of weight on, bro, defensively, he can be a monster. Dude is 6'8". So he's like the same height as LeBron, essentially, right?
With the block at the rim.
Oh, he's gonna do is more?
Dallas.
Oh,
Nembhard
back to Nembhard. Straight money, wide open.
Ryan.
That must be Nembhard's dad.
In full effect. And Big Bro appreciates it. Bronny off the screen, gets the switch. 5 on the clock.
Oh, wants that last shot.
Bag work, pulls the 3. A little bit strong, comes off out of bounds.
And Bronny breaks the last shot. Okay.
The horn goes. Is there time remaining?
Putting his hands up.
We got 0.2 seconds. That game was over. Dallas gets the win. That's pretty solid, man. I think Bronny and Cooper Flagg ended up with like 10 points each in that game, something like that. Like 10 or 11 points, something like that. It wasn't like a super high scoring game for both of them, but it's pretty solid. But this right here, though, this is Cooper Flagg in this summer league game he had today. He dropped 31 points in this summer league game that he had today. Look at this shit, man.
Cooper Flagg walks into the 3.
I think the man is finally getting used to that NBA speed.
Sideline out of bounds. Here's Flagg, guarded by Carter.
First game was a little bit more of a warm-up.
Big man in the drop. Flagg raises
Oh,
up.
shit.
Man, good looking jumper.
Kind of has like a slow release.
Nembhard pulls it out. Flag with the left this time. It's a little bit harder. Flag
Oh.
with the lob.
Ooh.
Of a new generation. Still has a lot left in the tank. Here's Flag.
Oh, come on now.
With a slick.
Come on now.
Goes screen by Flagg. Jones Garcia picks him up. Flag.
Ooh. Yo, this man. Oh, let me put this full screen. Let me go back.
With a slick. Goes screen by Flagg.
Man, Cooper Flagg.
Picks him up. Flag. Punching it home immediately. Great way to get on the floor. Punching it home immediately. Great way to get on the floor when you can guard.
Yeah, man, this Cooper Flagg, look, man, Dallas. Yeah, you got to shout out to Dallas, man. They're such a lucky organization, bro. You lose an all-timer or one of the best. He's gonna go down as a Hall of Famer, Luka Doncic, and then in return you get this guy who just looks like an absolute world beater, bro. This guy dropping 31 points in his second summer league game. This guy's gonna be a star, man. That's #1 overall pick. This guy's supposed to be generational. So, man, Dallas Mavericks absolutely lucked out. Absolutely lucked out. That's crazy. Okay, so let's get into the second topic here. So we got some more OKC talk, man. So OKC have absolutely spent the bag this summer, man. So OKC, they signed SGA to a contract extension. Then they signed Chet Holmgren to a contract extension. Then they signed Jalen Williams to a contract extension. And all the contracts together total $822 million, bro. Let me say that one more time. All the contracts together, all the extensions that they just signed just this offseason after they won the NBA championship, they total $822 million. So I'm going to get into this article here. So $822 million extension have OKC Thunder careening towards NBA's 3 max problem. So we're going to get into that too. And we're also going to talk about some of the luxury tax and the second apron in the NBA and why this may be a little bit of a problem for the OKC Thunder moving forward. But I think they made the right idea too, just signing all your players to a max extension right now, deal with the problem later. As you all know, that the NBA, they're going to have a new collective bargaining agreement in, I believe, 2030. And there's a couple of things to think about that with the collective bargaining agreement. So number one is that once they have that new collective bargaining agreement, the total amount the NBA players are going to get under that new collective bargaining agreement is going to go way up, way up. That money is going to go way, way, way up. So right now, SGA had the highest annual salary once he signed this extension, but then Devin Booker just signed a 2-year, $145 million contract. So he's making like $72 million a year, something crazy like that. But when that new collective bargaining agreement comes out in 2030, bro, max players are going to be making like $85 million a year, maybe even $90 million a year. It's going to get close to that. So that's one thing. Another thing is that the Nielsen scans, so essentially, when you look at viewership ratings, there's something called like the Nielsen scans, and that's essentially what they use to be able to see how much people are watching a show. So when you see like the NBA say, okay, Game 7 of the NBA Finals had an average viewership of like 20 million people or whatever like that, or had 20 million views, or the Super Bowl had 160 million people watching or something like that. These are all from the Nielsen scans. But what they're doing now is that they're changing the way that the Nielsen scan is being counted. So right now, they're not counting in a lot of the digital scans, like watching it on TV, watching it on iPad, watching on different devices, but they will be doing that, I think, starting next year. So what that means is that for the NBA, all the viewership numbers are about to go up, 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 which means that when they come back to the negotiating table again in 2030, all the numbers are going to go up, 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 up. Because with higher viewership numbers, all of the advertisers are going to have to pay more money to be able to get their names in front of everybody watching the NBA games. So what that eventually means is that it means more money for the owners, and it also means more money for the NBA players as well too. So the NBA contracts, they're big now, but they're about to get even bigger under the next collective bargaining agreement. And the Oklahoma City Thunder know this. So that's why they're signing everybody to a max contract now, knowing that in 2030, that amount that they're able to pay their players is going to go way up. So they're doing that. So let's go off here. So fresh from winning their first championship in franchise history, the Oklahoma City Thunder have been shelling out the big bucks this offseason. First, they agreed to a 4-year Supermax extension with reigning MVP SGA worth a projected $285 million. On Wednesday, they came to terms with Chet Holmgren on a 5-year max extension that could be worth as much as $250 million. And on Thursday, they agreed to a 5-year max extension with Jalen Williams that could rise to $287 million. Bro, what are these numbers, man? So $285 million for SGA. That's a 4-year contract. 5-year contract for Chet Holmgren worth $250 million. So that's $50 million a year. And then Jalen Williams has agreed to a 5-year contract that could rise to as much as $287 million if he wins MVP or Defensive Player of the Year or gets named to an All-NBA team this upcoming season. So a lot of these contracts are also based on certain stipulations. So like you see, that's one of them. So there may be a max contract that be like, okay, you got to win NBA MVP, or you got to win Defensive Player of the Year, or you got to make an All-NBA either third team, second team, or third team. They'll have something like that in the contract. And if you hit that, then you'll be able to get the full $250 million or $287 million, whatever the contract amount is. But if you don't, you might get a little less. So say, for example, he doesn't get any NBA MVPs, Defensive Players of the Year, or All-NBA. Maybe that $287 million looks more like $250 million or $240 million. So they'll essentially put incentives in the contracts for the players to try to meet those contracts so they can get them extra money. You know what I mean? So Williams and Holmgren's new contracts won't take effect until the 2026-2027 season, while the SGA's contract doesn't begin until 2027-2028. So these contracts that they signed just this year or in the offseason, they won't start until after next year. The Thunder are currently projected to be $1 million below the $187 million luxury tax this upcoming season. So they'll have more financial flexibility than most title contenders in the near term. However, they'll start feeling the wrath of the NBA's collective bargaining agreement soon. So once Holmgren and Williams' new deal kicks in, the Thunder are projected to have a payroll of roughly $246 million, according to ESPN. That would put them above the projected $209 million first apron and $220 million second apron, which would lead the host of team building restrictions. It'll only get worse when SGA Supermax extension begins in 2027. So essentially, what they're doing right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are signing all these guys to these max extensions, and they're pushing this problem off into the future. And essentially, they know if they push this problem off into the future far enough, yes, they'll have to pay maybe the luxury tax on the first apron. Yes, they'll have to pay the second apron, which will essentially restrict them from being able to do a lot of stuff. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But right now, they're in win now mode, man. They want to go win another championship. They want to go win another 2-3 championships. So for them, it makes the most sense to give a max contract to your main guys, try to keep kind of the core around the team, try to win as much as possible, and then you deal with the problem on the back end. You know what I mean? The thing with Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder, they still have mad draft picks, bro. They have like so many draft picks. So OKC Thunder draft picks. So I think Sam Presti's preparing, and Sam Presti, if you didn't know, is the Oklahoma City Thunder general manager. And let's take a look at the picks they have. Because even in this year's NBA draft, they had a whole bunch of picks as well. That's not what I'm looking for. Future draft picks. They got projected 1 to 3. So in 2026, they have a first round pick that's projected from 1 to 4. In 2026, they have another first round pick, anywhere from 1 to 8. And these are protected picks. In 2026, they also have a second round pick. 2027, they have 3 first round picks. And in 2027, they have 2 first round picks. So even in the next couple of years, they still have mad draft picks so they can trade, do whatever with to be able to get those extra players that they need on their team to be able to keep their depth. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, man, Sam Presti, Oklahoma City Thunder's general manager, is the best general manager in the NBA. It's not even close. And he won NBA General Manager of the Year this year. What this guy's been able to do, like, if I don't know if y'all watch NFL or anything like that, like Philadelphia Eagles, bro, our general manager, bro, he's like bar none the best general manager in the business. And Sam Presti is like the NBA version of the Eagles general manager. But what he's been able to do here, and to still have that many draft picks, bro, there could be a future where they have to get rid of Chet or they have to get rid of Jalen Williams, and they'll still be able to potentially draft someone else who's just as good as them, if not better, to be able to replace them with all the draft picks that they have. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Let's get into this one here, too. So the NBA second apron is going to break up the OKC Thunder, and this is actually going to help the OKC. Now, they talk about how they have a bunch of different contracts here and how they secured all these guys for at least a 2030-2031 season. Let's see, the collective CBA. Collective bargaining. See, when is the next CBA? Because I'm pretty sure it's 2030 for the NBA. Let's do a double check right here. Okay, yeah, so it runs out in the 2029, 2030. Yeah, so the new collective bargaining agreement will start in 2030. So yeah, OKC, they got plenty of time to try to go ahead, try to win another championship, and try to create a dynasty before time essentially runs out, man. That's essentially what they got to do, man. Okay. And then now we look at the NBA salary cap as well too. And I'll get into the salary cap. We'll get into the luxury tax, and I'll get into the apron as well too, because this stuff is all important for the Oklahoma City Thunder and all NBA teams moving forward as well. So NBA salary cap for the 2025-2026 season is set at $154 million. If y'all don't know, the salary cap is essentially just the amount of money allotted that the NBA teams are allowed to pay their players. So there's a certain bucket of money that they're allowed to be able to pay all the players on their team. and they have to split that evenly. And if they go above that $154 million, then they're in the what's called the luxury tax. So in the luxury tax, they have to pay the NBA and other teams extra money per dollar amount they spend extra above that that specific line that they have there. And then there's another thing called the second apron. And the second apron had even more stipulations and penalties. So teams like the Boston Celtics, for example, they went way over the luxury tax, way into the second apron to be able to keep all their main guys together just so they can win a championship. Because you want to have as much depth as possible. You want to have as much stars on your team as possible to be able to win the championship. But to be able to keep a lot of these guys together, it costs a lot of money. And you're most likely going to have to go into the luxury tax to be able to do that. So the Boston Celtics did that. They were way into the second apron, which restricted a lot of moves that they could make to be able to rebolster their team. And then as soon as they got some new ownership, they got rid of Porzingis. They got rid of Porzingis, and they got rid of Drew Holiday as well, because they just couldn't afford to pay all these players all at the same time. It would essentially cripple their team. So they traded these guys out, and now they're going to try and rebuild around Jason Tatum and Jalen Williams. So that's what teams are going to have to do. So the National Basketball Association announced today that the salary cap has been set to $154 million for the 2025-2026 season. The tax level for the 2026 season is $187 million. So the $154 million is the salary cap, but then the luxury tax level is $187 million. So any team that goes above the $187 million has to pay an extra penalty on top of it. And for example, if you go over the luxury tax line for the first $5 million, you have to pay an extra $1.50 per dollar contract that you give out. I hope this is not confusing y'all. It's kind of technical, and this is like kind of the NBA GM stuff that goes on in the background and how they have to manage the money to be able to stay competitive. So that's the luxury tax, $187 million. The first apron is $195 million, and the second apron, which is the most dangerous one, is $207 million. So the second apron, so the first apron kicks in at the $7 million line. So if they go above the luxury tax and they go above $7 million in extra salaries that they pay out, then it triggers restrictions. So one of those restrictions is a full mid-level exception. One of them is that you're not allowed to sign and trade players. But the big one, and which a lot of teams are trying to avoid, and this is something that they implemented after I believe the 2022-2023 CBA, the NBA put in the second apron. And the reason why they put the second apron in is because they wanted to avoid teams from creating super teams now. So after the Golden State Warriors were able to sign Kevin Durant, and they were able to make a super team essentially with that, and be able to make essentially everything in the NBA not important anymore. The regular season wasn't important anymore. The playoffs weren't important because y'all already knew who was going to be there. Y'all already know it was going to be Golden State Warriors, and y'all already knew Golden State Warriors were going to win everything. So it wasn't exciting to watch, and they didn't want other teams to be able to continue to make super teams like this. So they put in the second apron to be able to penalize teams for just being able to pay as much as they want to the luxury tax, and to be able to essentially create super teams for as long as they want. Because in theory, before in the old system, what you could do is you could just pay as much luxury tax as you want. Especially if you have an owner who's super rich, you can pay just luxury tax, and continue to create a dynasty just with the amount of money you have. And teams with a salary cap, that's the the sporting leagues with salary caps, that's exactly the opposite of what they want to do. They do not want to have a league where the teams that have the richest owners can just pay and just create dynasties all the time. Kind of like what you can do in soccer. Like, I don't know if y'all watch soccer, but if you watch English Premier League, or if you watch La Liga or whatever like that, essentially the richest teams can just buy the best players and continue to win all the time. And you look at that, and the teams that win the championship, if you look at La Liga, it's really only 2 or 3 teams that ever win. It's going to be either Barcelona or it's going to be Real Madrid. And the NBA does not want that happening in their sport, bro. They want some of the important teams like the Lakers, the Boston Celtics to always be good. But at the same time, they do want to have a lot of competition. They want to have a little bit more parity in their league. So they make sure to implement these things so that it stays that way. So that being said, the second apron that starts at $207 million, this is the most debilitating for a team. So when a team crosses the second apron, they're not allowed to do any sign-in trades. They have no mid-level team exceptions. They can't aggregate salaries at all in a trade. They can't combine contracts to get a $20 million player. They can't include any cash in trade. So a lot of the times teams will trade for a player and they'll give a pick, but they'll also give cash as well too. If you hit that second apron, you're not allowed to do that. And then you can't trade future picks plus 7 years out. So a lot of times what teams will do is they'll backload a lot of stuff. So they'll backload a lot of trades. So they'll give a pick out in 2028 or 2027. Sorry, not 2028, 2027. They'll give a pick from like 10 years in the future, something like that, or 6 or 7 years in the future to be able to get like a big player from now on. Essentially, they might be in win now mode. So they'll say, okay, we'll mortgage our future so that we can win now. Under the second apron, you can't do that. And then it also freezes first round picks as well too. So if you're over the second or third apron, if you're over the second apron 2 out of 3 years in a row, then you will lose your first round picks as well. So a lot of teams, they don't want to be able to, they don't want to get in that second apron because they don't want to mortgage their futures and they don't want to debilitate their team in the future just because they can win now. And there's just so many penalties in there that a lot of teams are like, listen, man, if we have like a big player or marquee player, we'll just trade him out and we'll just try to get draft picks or something in return. And that's essentially what Boston did. Boston right now, they're in a position where they're trying to rebuild. Other teams, it makes it hard for them as well too. Golden State, they had a strategy where essentially they had KD, right? So they would just mortgage their future, pay into the luxury tax. They didn't really care. But you've seen since the second apron has been introduced into the NBA, since KD's left, Golden State has had a tough time, man. They won the 2023, 2024 championship. But since then, Golden State has had an extremely tough time in the playoffs. Obviously, this year, Steph Curry had his injury as well. But it hasn't been easy for them, right? And they've been trying to make moves, make trades. They got Jimmy Butler. But they may run into some luxury tax and second apron problems as well, too, if they try to add another piece into Golden State, man. Golden State, they're in a tough situation as well because Curry is almost out, man. Curry is what, like 36, 37 years old? He only has a couple years left. And he has a lot of injuries that are creeping up on him. Like he had those calf strains in the playoffs as well, and he missed essentially the entire second round against OKC. So you got Curry, who's obviously still a phenomenal player, but he's aging as well. So Golden State really only has a short window to be able to do this. So do they go into the luxury tax in the second apron to be able to sign another big star and try to win another championship before Curry retires? It's going to be hard, man. With these new rules, it's going to be extremely hard. So that's a little bit more insight into kind of the luxury tax, the first apron and the second apron, how that works and how it's kind of debilitating teams. And this is why OKC has essentially signed everybody all just right now to be able to just win now. Just win now as much as possible. We'll deal with the second and third. We'll deal with the first and the second apron in the future. And hopefully what they're hoping is that under the new collective bargaining agreement, the max deal that they're going to be able to give those players is going to be a lot lower compared to what the luxury tax and what the second apron and first apron will be, so they can keep their team together, hopefully. But I know that Golden State, Oklahoma City Thunder, in their back pocket, they know that if they do have to eventually trade a Jalen Williams or a Chet Holmgren, they have a bunch of draft picks to be able to fall on to be able to keep that team at least semi-competitive into the future. So that's a little bit about the luxury tax, first apron, the second apron. A little bit of that explained as well too. And we got some Twitter extras, man. Let's get into some of this stuff as well too. So we got Kyrie Irving back here, man.
This one for me. Behind, step back.
Oh, gosh.
Wow, I'm getting cooked right now.
Yeah. It's the best out of
Back here, miss one for me.
We got Kyrie Irving back hooping.
Back here, miss one for me. Behind, step back.
Oh, gosh.
Wow, I'm getting cooked right now.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. You love to see it, man. Kyrie's already back hooping and everything like that. I think Kyrie suffered his ACL injury. Kyrie Irving. Must have been a while. Yeah, March 3rd. Damn. So that was only a couple months ago. He suffered his ACL injury, but he's already back. At least hooping. I don't think he'll be back for at least towards midway next season, something like that. So Kyrie has pretty much a lot of time to come back. But honestly, what these doctors are able to do these days is actually crazy, bro. Like, they have so much more information and like literature, medical literature on how these injuries can affect players. Because before, bro, an ACL injury, a freaking Achilles tear, some of these other knee injuries, man, like that would have been career over in the past. Like in the 70s or 80s, bro, even the 90s to an extent, you got one of those injuries, bro, you could potentially come back, but you would not be as fast as you were before. It would, for a lot of players, it was a career ender. But nowadays, man, you get an ACL tear, you get an Achilles tear, you can still come back within a year, man. Like, look at KD. KD's been back, and and he's still been hooping, man. So he's been hooping for a couple years. I expect Jason Tatum to come back hooping as well too. Damian Lillard, as well as Tyrese Halliburton, man. Like, they've all suffered pretty bad injuries all within recent times of each other. I think they all suffered in the NBA playoffs this year, just this year alone. But for Kyrie Irving, bruh, to be able to come back from this, just getting injured in March.
Behind, step back.
Oh, gosh.
Nah, that's dope. I rock with that. Shout out to Kyrie, man. He's back. We got some more on Kyrie too. So a couple years ago, there was some weird shit. People talking to Kyrie, asking questions about, is LeBron a father figure to you? Some crazy question asked by supporters. So Kyrie had to address that as well too. And he actually, if you want to know, Kyrie is streaming as well too. I think he's on Twitch. So Kyrie Irving is streaming, and he addressed that. So let's get into what he said.
Yes, y'all. I only have one father, Drederick Irving. I only have one father. I have one father, Drederick Irving. This is my father, y'all. All right.
So W Pops, man, W Pops. And I'm glad we got to recreate that meme, bro, because that question was crazy. When somebody asked me if LeBron was like a father figure to me, bro, that was crazy, bro. No kizzy. That was a crazy ass question. He's like a few years
Kyrie Irving saying no kizzy, bro. What the fuck? What's Kyrie on, man?
older than me. You asked this man if he was my father figure, bro. I got a father right there, Drederick Irving. No disrespect, bro. What's up? Yeah.
Kyrie Irving's on Unk mode saying no kizzy. That sounds kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. I ain't gonna lie, that's mad disrespectful. When you already got a father in your life, for a reporter to ask you, is LeBron like a father figure to you, bro? What type of shit are you on, bro? Like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you actually doing? You know?
This is my father, y'all. All right.
So W Pops, man, W Pops. And I'm glad we got to recreate that
Man, it said W Pops.
meme, bro, because that question was crazy. When somebody asked me if LeBron was like a father figure to me, bro, that was crazy, bro. No kizzy. That was a crazy ass question. He's like
No kizzy.
a few years older than me. You asked this man if he was my father figure, bro. I got a father right there, Drederick Irving. No disrespect, bro. What's up? Yeah, go ahead.
What's up, Chet?
Like that. Yes, y'all.
One thing Kyrie gonna do, man, Kyrie gonna speak his mind, man. That is a crazy ass question, bro. Don't ask me if another man's a father figure to me when he's only 3 years older than me. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? No, they're tweaking. Oh, speaking of LeBron, LeBron arrived in Las Vegas. Support Bronny. That's solid. And we got one last thing to get into, man. We got this weird ass shit here. So Drake did a jersey swap of LeBron and SGA for his new tattoo. Where do we even start with this shit, bro? We're gonna end the stream soon, but one thing, y'all, don't be getting tattoos of another man on your body, fam. Don't ever do that shit. Do not ever, especially if that man's like not your father, not someone who passed away, you know, not a relative or somebody that was close to you, bro. Like, if it's somebody like your man's and, you know, they die, you know what I mean? It's like a RIP type shit, or it's like your father, some family member, that makes sense, bro. But for you to be a grown-ass man getting a tattoo of another man on your body, what are we doing? What the hell are we doing, bro? And then for you to cover it up and then get a tattoo of another man on your body, just replace the LeBron one with SGA? Come on, bro. What part of the game is that, bro? What part of the game is that? Listen, man, do not do this shit ever. Do not ever do this shit that Drake is doing right here, bro. Do not get a tattoo of another man on your fucking body, especially because if you fall out with that man, you look crazy. You look crazy already, even if you were still friends. But falling out with that dude, you look crazy. You look absolutely insane. And now you cover it up, bro. Everybody still looks like you're a bitch because you got another man tattooed on you and you cover it up with another man. Absolutely crazy, man. But anyways, man, that's everything for tonight, man. We'll be streaming again on Wednesday, next Wednesday, 8 p.m., man. Shout out to anybody who watched for today. Shout out to all everybody who watched, and shout out and following all the different streaming platforms, man. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all them shits, man. So give it a follow to Keep It Basketball, man. And I'll be seeing y'all next Wednesday, man. We'll be coming out with the updates and everything that happens in the NBA world. We're going to be covering everything in the offseason as well. And then we're going to be streaming NBA games, doing live play-by-plays when the NBA season starts again in October. But yo, appreciate anybody who's watching, man. And we're going to be out tonight, man. Have a good night. We out.